How do you think of an idea? Here's the mistake. Don't think that your idea is the best idea because you thought of it. That's the wrong way of thinking about it. बहुत लोग बोलते हैं कि अरे scratch your own itch. If you have a problem, then that is the right problem to solve because you feel for that problem. But frankly, किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ता अगर वो आपकी problem है, until and unless it is a meaningfully large problem for the world. So, if you can, and this is not a promotion, go on YouTube and just search for what I call the 2-week test. And I love this test because this is something that I use almost every day of my life for any new idea that comes in my mind. It's a 2-week test through which you can actually get a fairly good sense of what is the potential of this idea in front of the real world. It is fake in the sense that you almost project that you have a business without having a real business, and then you try and see what is the demand for that business and at what cost can you serve that demand. So it's a long story and I wouldn't go into the details of it, but just go on YouTube, search for the 2-week test or the startup test and Ankur Warikoo, you'll get that video. That'll be a good start for you. But that is how I would pick up and conclude which idea to work on or not. One book that really helped me when I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2009 is a book called Rework. It's a very easy read, a very challenging read because it challenges a lot of notions that we have about entrepreneurship, about starting and so on. So I would strongly recommend that book, Rework, R-E-W-O-R-K. There are a bunch of other books as well, but once you start reading, you'll get into the habit. Here is one thing, Naseem, that I often say, which is different from what usually is said. Often people say, quit your job to follow your passion. And I think that's really poor advice, really bad advice, because it's not practical at all. My suggestion is the following. Let's say you are in a job. Please continue in that job because that job gives you something which is very important, and that's financial stability. If you quit that job to start your own business and so on, what you're doing is you're putting the pressure of making money on your new business from day one. And that is almost like asking a newborn baby to run the Olympics. It's not going to happen. It will take time. They will need to develop their muscles, their strength to get to a certain stage. So the way that it has worked for me, which is the way that I would suggest to everybody, is please stay in your job and do what is required for you to get that salary and do a good job of what you have to do. Don't aim for employee of the month, best growth, best this, best that, because that requires you to spend a lot more effort. Just do what is expected from that job at that bare minimum and make sure that you have as much time for yourself as you can. And during that time, start exploring. Start exploring on ideas. Work on the side. Take as long as you want to. Could be 1 year, could be 2 years. कोई जल्दी नहीं है, by the way. Don't ever believe that आपको business अपने 20s में ही शुरू करना पड़ेगा for you to be successful. You're looking at the founders here, right? Nobody is there in their 20s. They're all matured, they have wizened, they have had their own experiences, their own jobs, their own startups, their own wins and highs and lows. And now they are where they are, and yet it is successful because they come with that wisdom. So the more experience you gather, the higher are the chances of you succeeding. And that is how you should think about it. Whenever in that journey, you get to a level of confidence ki haan yaar, ab this business can make money and I can also pay for my living and my needs, quit the job and then move to the business. But until then, you don't have to, and you shouldn't. It's not practical, at least in my opinion. Number one is, don't think of college as education. Think of college as experience. college is not about a degree. College is about what you learn as an experience. So the learning will happen in the classroom. It will also happen outside of the classroom. It will also happen through your peers. It will also happen through your professors. It will also happen through the opportunities that you will get to interact with others. So please use college as an experience as against just an education. Number two, don't make the mistake of thinking of college as a placement agency. It is not a placement agency. It is, as I said, an experience, which means you have to equip yourself with all the skills to plan your career. Number three, and most important, don't spend college in your own chota sa dunya, in your own chota cocoon, thinking ki अरे यही मेरी दुनिया है, यही मेरे दोस्त हैं, यही मेरा परिवार है. It is an entire experience that you can create for yourself. So go back to the first point that I said. Spend time with people who are nothing like you. Like whenever you are in a class, whenever you are on a Zoom call, and you look at people and you think, nahi yaar, inse kabhi dosti nahi karunga. Those are exactly the people that you should be spending time with, because they are so different from you that you dismiss them, but they are actually the ones who know about the world very differently from you. And they will then show you a different side of what the world has to offer than what you know of. I think the second one is easier said than done. The only reason why we are all here on this wonderful webinar is because that platform is precisely that. So what should you do while at college to prepare you, because you don't have any experience right now? Be a part of Launchpad, go through that entire experience, learn it as closely as you can with its nuts and bolts, Karthik, because that will be somebody else's experience helping you, so you will stand on the shoulders of others, and frankly that is the best way. While college, शुभी, अगर आप अपने ऊपर प्रेशर डालेंगे कि पढ़ना भी है, कमाना भी है, माँ बाप का ख्याल भी रखना है, अपनी जिंदगी भी जीनी है, दोस्तों के साथ पार्टी भी करनी है, कपड़े भी खरीदने हैं, फोन भी खरीदना है, then that's frankly a lot of pressure on you. And I'm not suggesting कि नहीं हो सकता, but it may be too much to sign up for, and my recommendation will be should not. Think about it from a long-term perspective. And long-term is, if you do a good job in college, Shubhi, you are setting yourself up for life. Lekin, if you do a mediocre job in college, whether from an experience perspective or an education perspective or a placement perspective or a combination, you are unnecessarily playing with the rest of your life. You have at least 40 years of working ahead of you. 40 years, Shubhi, which is double the time you have spent on this planet. So it's very hard to figure ki, how do you plan for 40 years? But the surest way that you can do that is get yourself prepared, as against get yourself very excited about starting to earn and helping. I completely understand and appreciate where you're coming from. मेरा भी बिल्कुल यही नजरिया था, and I'm saying this from experience कि कॉलेज में ना माँ बाप की मदद करने का मन करता है, अपनी पढ़ाई का खर्चा खुद लेने का मन करता है, and all of those things. Do whatever you can, little bit, tuitions here and there, but please do not compromise on the experience that college has to offer. क्योंकि अगर यहाँ आप चूक गए, then you are actually playing with 40 years of earning, not the next 1 to 2 years. So don't make that mistake. कॉलेज का जॉब आपको जॉब देना नहीं है. कॉलेज का जॉब आपको वो सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज प्रोवाइड करना है जिससे आप इस सवाल का जवाब दे सकती हैं. Here is what I would do. Sunstone is not something that started today. It has been in existence. It has people who have graduated. It has people who are already working in different fields, in different companies, in different organizations. Speak to them, connect with them, figure out what is it that it is to be in a sales job, what it is to be in a marketing job, what is it to be in a HR job, what is it to be in a finance job, in a data job. Get all that perspective. You can do that right now. आपका पूरा network established है for you to make that happen. Use this opportunity to find the answers to that question. आपको फिर से ये opportunity बहुत मुश्किल से मिलेगी, if at all मिलेगी भी. But today you have that network, that entire infrastructure to get that answer, find that answer, and take a decision basis that. That is still not a decision for your entire life. ऐसा नहीं है कि if you pick up a marketing job, then you're going to be in a marketing job for 40 years. No, you're going to change your jobs 5 years, 10 years. But what to start with is an answer that you can get basis all the things that Sunstone provides.